have images in their mind as what a Muslim looks like. Just like going back in 60s and 1950s, 40s, people said that they were from Africa and they think that people were swinging from trees because that's the image that they saw on television. But, you know, as the only Muslim in the city council, we don't really get into discussions of religion in the city council. We talk about law, we talk about resolutions. So there was one resolution that I was the primary sponsor. And a resolution is basically the will of the body. So a resolution was put forward by me as per a coalition. There was a coalition of education advocates. There was a coalition of religious leaders and unions all working together in order to put forward a resolution basically saying the two holiest holidays of the Muslim calendar should be incorporated into the New York City school calendar. And so we put that resolution forward, and after a long period of time, the city council unanimously passed the resolution to incorporate our holiest holidays into the Muslim calendar. The city of New York, the chancellor of the Department of Education, they refused to do it. And I said to them publicly in news media, tell me, what does it take? It takes 3% of the population of 1.1 million in order to say yes? 5%? 10%? What percentage does it need in order to incorporate our holidays into the Muslim calendar? Tell me. Of course, you don't get an answer. But understanding that out of 1.1 million school children in the New York City public school system, the largest in the United States of America, the Muslim population is 12%. 12%. And there's other municipalities in New Jersey, right across the river, and other states that have incorporated the two holiest holidays in the Muslim calendar into their school calendars. And a research study at Columbia University basically said by incorporating our holidays into the calendar, it has no negative impact on the quality of education. And in fact, part of the research said that over the next 10 years, half of the holidays will fall on the weekends and during holidays and not really on school days. That's just one example. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that New York City, they call New York City the melting pot, where there is so much diversity around the world that hopefully we will be able to eventually incorporate our holidays into the school calendar. Because years ago, there used to be alternate side of the street parking. So in my neighborhood where we live at, if you have a car, you can't park on Monday and Thursday from 11 to 12:30. So on Mondays from 11 to 12:30, you move your car on the other side of the street and you double park. So here's a car that's parked and your car is double parked. When the Department of Sanitation goes with the electronic sweeper and cleans the street, then at 12:30 you can move your car back. Okay? Or there are certain holidays where they suspend alternate side of the street. So it's suspended. And it's suspended for several reasons. Religious holidays, Washington's birthday, George Washington was the first president of the United States of America, different events. Well, eventually they suspended alternate side of the street parking during our holidays. So we have that when it's our holidays, they suspend the parking regulations, so which is good. And even, for example, the Indian holiday is called what? Diwali. And about how many years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I think, they suspended alternate side of the street parking during the holiday. And so, by being in the melting pot, you're going to have different requests and pressures put on our government in order to do what's right for the general population. And so, we are still advocating on behalf of people that I represent. And the people that I represent in Northern Manhattan, as a member of the City Council of New York, I represent about 163,000 people. There are 51 members of the City Council. And based on the 2000 census, and every 10 years we do a census count, the people that I represented were 50% Latino. The majority of the Latino are Dominican. Because this area in Northern Manhattan, there's a large Dominican population. Based on the 2000 census, about 31% were African American or black, such as my sister Aisha and myself. We're African American. And about 13% were white and about 2% Asian. That's based on the 2000 census count. But even though I'm an African American, when people ask me, well, what's your ethnicity? Even though I'm African American and people look at me, they may not think that I'm African American, they may think I'm Dominican. Because when I go to the Dominican Republic, I look Dominican. And then when I go to Tanzania, East Africa, in Zanzibar, my wife is from Tanzania, East Africa, I look Zanzibari. So people start talking to me in Swahili. Habari, habari asubuhi. That means good morning, how are you? Habari jioni, good afternoon. So, and then, when I tell people that my father was Chinese, they look at me and they say, you don't look Chinese. And I say to them, okay, what else is new? Well, my father was Chinese. Surprised?
Yes.
Why are you surprised? Because what? Because I don't look Chinese. Does that mean I'm not Chinese? No. I know you don't know. I understand that. But I asked you a very specific question. Because I don't look Chinese, does that mean that I'm not Chinese?
Yeah.
What's the answer?
No.
No, right? Isn't that right? That's right, you're right. So, part of it's a dialogue and interchange. But let me finally say, I consider myself a universal child. Sure. I come from everywhere. I'm Chinese. I'm a Zanzibari. I'm an African American. I'm a Dominican. I'm a little bit of everything. And I've heard this saying, and I'm finally sit down. Some people say in New York City, we are all immigrants. And I said, wait a minute. I'm not an immigrant. My mother was born in Athens, Georgia, in the South. And I've traced my mother's family back to slavery time. So we're not all immigrants. I didn't immigrate here. My mother didn't immigrate here. My grandmother and great-grandmother and father did not immigrate here. They were born here. And they were part of, the slavery situation in this country. So the slave owners in Athens, Georgia, if you go right now to the white pages in Athens, Georgia, you will still see a lot of Willinghams, because the slave name for the major slave owners in that area was last name Willingham. So my family's name is Willingham and Jackson. And with that, I'm going to sit down and be quiet.